Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about something that's like the secret weapon behind modern business intelligence. We are talking about dimensional modeling. It's this incredible technique for turning just a total mess of data into super clear decisions.
So let's start with a question. Sounds pretty simple on the surface, right? But think about what it really takes to get that answer. You've got millions, literally millions, of transactions, customer files, warehouse logs. It's a mountain of raw data. So how in the world do you dig through all of that to find a simple answer? Well, that's exactly the puzzle we're going to solve. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, the big why. Why even bother modeling data? Then we'll get into the actual building blocks. After that, we'll see how to put them together with something called schemas. And finally, we'll look at how this all plays out in the real world. Let's do it.
All right, section 1, why model your data? So yeah, let's jump right into that why. It's all about going from that messy, chaotic pile of data we mentioned to getting those sharp, clear answers that a business actually needs to function.
And the answer, the key to all of this, is dimensional modeling. So what is it? Well, it's a way of designing your data with one single goal in mind, making it super fast and super easy to analyze. You know, it's not just about dumping all your transaction data somewhere. It's about being smart, being intentional about how you structure it. That way, when you ask those big questions, you get answers back in seconds, not days.
Okay, so how does this magic actually work? It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. It really all comes down to two core building blocks. And I love this way of thinking about it. You've got the numbers and you've got the story. First, let's talk about the fact table. This is where the numbers live. It is the absolute heart of the model. It captures all the measurable stuff, the hard metrics from a business event. We're talking sales amount, how many units were sold, what the profit was, anything you can add up or average. This table tells you what happened. But, a bunch of numbers on their own are kind of meaningless, right? That's where the dimension tables come into play. They provide the story. They give you all that juicy context, the who, what, where, when, that makes the numbers actually mean something. Like, who was the customer? What product was it? Where did the sale happen? That context, it's literally everything. And if you look at them side by side, you see a huge difference. The fact tables, they're gigantic. They can have millions, sometimes billions of rows of just numbers. But the dimension tables, they're way smaller, maybe thousands of rows. They're just packed with that descriptive context. And the main takeaway here is you absolutely need both. You need the numbers and the story to see what's really going on. Okay, so we've got our building blocks, facts and dimensions, the numbers and the story. Now, how do we actually put them together? Well, that's where schemas come in. Just think of them as the blueprints you use to build your data model. And the most popular blueprint, the one you're going to see everywhere, is the Star Schema. And the name is perfect because it's just so simple and elegant. You have your main fact table right in the middle. That's all your numbers. And then connected directly to it are all your dimension tables, the story. It literally looks like a star. And because it's so simple, it's blazing fast to query. That's why BI tools, like Tableau or Power BI, they just eat this stuff up. Now, on the other hand, you've got the Snowflake Schema. And again, the name fits perfectly. It's way more complex, more intricate. What it does is it takes those dimension tables and normalizes them. And that's just a fancy database term for breaking them down into even smaller, little related tables. So instead of one big products table, you might have separate tables for brand and category that link back. Now, this can save you some storage space, for sure, but it also means there are a lot more joins, a lot more complexity when you go to query it. So, which one do you pick? It's all about trade-offs, right? Star Schema is simple, it's fast. It's going to be your go-to for most dashboards and your everyday analytics. Snowflake is more complex, a little slower to query, but it's great if you're trying to save every last byte of storage, or if you have these really complicated hierarchies in your data. At the end of the day, it's all about picking the right tool, the right blueprint, for the specific job you're trying to do. Okay, we've covered a lot of the theory, the what and the how. But now for the fun part. Let's talk about how this stuff actually works in the real world. This is where the rubber meets the road. So, to build really good models, the pros follow a few key rules. Like first, you have to decide on the grain. That's just the level of detail. Are we looking at sales by the minute, by the hour, by the day? You have to define that up front. Another huge one, you always have a dedicated time dimension. It's like a non-negotiable. Little things like this, these best practices, they make a massive difference in how useful your model actually is. Let's bring it back to that classic retail example. It's super easy to picture. You've got your main fact table in the middle, tracking things like how many items were sold and for how much money. And then surrounding it, you have your dimension tables. One for product, one for the customer, one for the store location, and one for time. See? With that simple structure, answering that big question from the beginning, it becomes a piece of cake. Or what about something more complex, like an airline? Okay, step 1, you model the facts. That's your ticket prices, your baggage fees, the number of seats sold. Step 2, you build out the dimensions. That's the passenger information, the flight route, the kind of plane it was. And what's the result, the outcome? The airline can now do some seriously powerful analysis. They can create dynamic pricing models, they can figure out which routes are most profitable, and that directly impacts their bottom line. That is the real power of dimensional modeling. Yeah, this quote really nails it. Dimensional modeling is not just some obscure technical thing for data geeks. It is a fundamental pillar of how modern companies use data. It is the foundation for everything, from the simple dashboard your manager looks at every morning, all the way up to the most advanced AI and machine learning models.
So there you have it. Dimensional modeling is that critical bridge. It's how you go from a chaotic mess of raw data to powerful, actionable insight. It's how businesses stop just guessing and start making real, data-driven decisions. So it leaves you with just one question, really. What's the first big question you're going to answer?